On today's video, we're going to deviate from our normal life around Martin's cabin. We're going to talk about my experiences with the Snowdog. What my term for the Snowdog is that snowmobile type machine that we use that I refer to as a dog. We've had it for 4 years now, and I think we can talk about it, what it'll do for us and what it can't. Now that I have your attention, please don't report us for cruelty to the dog. In the winter, it's a 3-mile trek in from the road, and so the main job really for the dog is to be hauling our gear in, which is, frozen food and maybe a mattress that we decide to bring in, and any other supplies we decide that we'd have a hankering for at the cabin. What's happened though is a larch beetle is killing all of these tamarack trees. It's American larch. There's a lot of them on our property, and they're nice size like this, so when I realized that they're going to die anyway, I got the idea to try to salvage them, haul them all in, and when I get enough gathered and when I get a crew around, we're going to erect a new log cabin. So buried in the snow around where we're working now, last year we probably hauled in about 50 or 60 logs, and we keep adding to the pile. Never have enough. We managed to get 2 of the 15-foot saw logs hauled out of here yesterday. We had to use the electric come along, I should say, to pull that one out of the deep snow back there and get it up here where we had good traction with the Snowdog. And then not very far away on the other side of the trail, I had quite a few logs laid back in here, and I guess we managed to get 2 out. You can see kind of some holes here where Snowdog kind of dug down as we got bound up a few times, but as we use this snow and get the air knocked out of it, when it freezes at night, it gets a lot harder, and the Snowdog has a real good bite to it. So anyway, we got 2 logs out of here. We got a big beast back here that is not the worst thing in the world if I have to leave it here and bring the Grandberg chainsaw mill setup out here, and I can just cut these logs right on site. To get the best work out of that Snowdog, we found that it's best off to go in and stomp things down and even empty with the Snowdog and get the packed down and let it freeze, and then it's got enough of a purchase with the track that we're able to pull out some pretty good sized logs, but not out of the soft fluffy snow. That doesn't work. I didn't know if I'd have trouble making this corner, pulling a 19-foot log, but as I came around with the Snowdog, I just already had the track kind of packed out here wide, swung around, and she almost bogged down out there as it got a little friction as it rubbed by those trees, but made it by fine. That was nice. The dog has sure been our friend, everything from getting these hiking trails, I'll call them now, because they're so hard like cement. We can just hike with shoes on. And also I come over here and I kind of ran the Snowdog, and then I stomped this with my boots so that with the cold last night, we'll have a nice hard packed path to hook onto this numerous logs that are cut and waiting to be pulled out back there. We're going. Once we get the log out of the good track, we're in good shape, but we found that pulling around these corners, oftentimes the friction just builds up too much and it shuts us down. The Snowdog's held up really well. I'm going to go over it before we take off again and make sure all the motor mounts are tight and everything else before we take off again. Just preventive maintenance to check it out, but we haven't had any trouble with that. But you can see this little sled. At one time, this was a lightweight wheelbarrow basin, and we've got it so flattened out and pretty well destroyed now that I think part of our issue with trying to haul some of these logs in is it's giving us more trouble than it's worth. So I gotta check around the piles here this morning and see if I can come up with a plan B. I know I've got another one of these around here, but I can't find it. But then I noticed there's a mound over here in the snow where we hauled a big boulder in last year. I remember one of these being stuck underneath it, and I think I pulled it out last summer. So I'm going to go prod in the snow over here and see if I can find my lost wheelbarrow basin. Well, I'm hoping to hear a nice metallic clang when I check into this pile. Hey, how about that? We're back in business. You know, as we get older, we try to work smarter and not harder. And so, picking this up here, Jim's got this strap. He's going to put it over his shoulder, and then we'll heft this log up, and we're going to move it into position. No, Jim, just try the strap on. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm just. Wait a second. We'll go. I mean, I think it's healthy for you. Not yet. Okay. Ready? Not working? No, it's easier to carry. Okay. They can't walk with it. Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay. Just don't. Hang on, don't move. Go a little bit at a time. Okay, I got it. Just a second, let me knock that. Okay, we got to get over the top of that.
You get the hard part because you're going in that deep snow.
I don't worry about that.
And when you're ready.
A little bit. One more. All right, very good. Snowdog for sale. Only used to take Grandma to church on Sundays. Honest. You know, over the last few years, we've hauled a lot of logs, but we learned some refining lessons on this one. All got to do with getting a proper skid under the front, getting the chains hooked up so they don't come off with resistance, and a few other things that just tweaking the system. But I think we'll also be learning that we really don't want to mess with a log that big again. On second thought, no, we don't. We haven't given up yet. We've cried uncle 3 times on these logs. I'll just bring the sawmill operation back here next fall, and we'll cut our floorboards right here. We got a few more logs way back in there to boot, so just a little sawmill setup out here. This is a big 24-footer that tried to get in last night, and I finally just, I cried uncle. We were tired, hot, wet. Thought we'd try it again today, but with the temperatures up near freezing, I don't think the snow's got a good set to it, so I think we're gonna have trouble. But you can see as we try to bring it around these corners, that's been the real issue. So we've been picking the tail end up and moving it around to straighten it out. But we got this nice log tongs that we used to do that, so it works pretty good. But we may try this again. Otherwise, it's gonna sit here all summer, and I'll figure out a better way to get these big brutes in. And I just couldn't give up. I went out the next morning and yanked it around, got it in position with the hoist and the cable hoist, electric, hooked onto her, and got this one yanked up. It was a big 25-footer, and I hated to pass it up. It may not look like much, but that the basin off of an old wheelbarrow, and it's a stouter wheelbarrow than the one we tore up yesterday. Having that spacer log in there, a couple extra chains to hook it up firmly and still have the sled attached to the Snowdog. We're still not going to go for a bigger one. A bigger log, that is. So in summary, after using the Snowdog for 3 or 4 years and admitting that it's not for everything, it doesn't like, 3 foot of soft snow. It doesn't like really rough rolling country. But in its place, and as you learn to use it better, what it can and what it can't do, well, as I've shown you here, it can really do a job when the conditions are right. If you give it a good solid footing, don't go out in the soft snow and try to pull a log, but if you do a little prep work, tamp the snow down so you gotta, it just freezes it down nice like a much harder surface. The machine's got the power. I've never smelled a belt slipping or anything. Now here, this is about as worse as I put it through, and I was surprised I got it going. Usually when like this, it's gonna bog down and you're not going anywhere till you get it dug out. But amazingly enough, this time by pushing down on the handlebars there and getting a good bite, we had the log out in the main track, and hey, like I say, you work with it, and that dog will work.